Welcome to the Toffee Blues, your source for all things Everton, and welcome to the live pre-match broadcast. I'm joined by Callum. We're looking ahead to the Everton versus Aston Villa game, which is kicking off at 12:30. Duncan Ferguson, of course, taking caretaker charge, and he's named his starting 11 just a few minutes ago. We'll get straight into that. How are you feeling going into this one, Cal?
Yeah, I'm feeling quite excited. I think it's been a long time Everton fans have gone to Goodison Park and felt like this, ever since Rafa was appointed or the bad skid under Ancelotti towards the end. I think a lot of Everton fans have got kind of. It looks like if you look at Twitter, and Twitter's probably the worst place to look, it almost feels like some people have started like falling out of love with the club. And I feel like this is probably the best thing the club could have done to reignite that spark between the fans and the club. Bring in someone like Duncan Ferguson who expects, 100% at minimum. And, it's like he said in one of his interviews, he wants these players to play like our fan would play if they were given the chance to play for Everton. So I think, we'll go on to line up in a minute and it isn't the strongest, but I think you will see 100% effort from every player on the pitch. And I think you'll see a big improvement in players like Richarlison and Calvert-Lewin specifically, in my opinion.
Yeah, like you say, we'll go through that starting 11. It's Jordan Pickford, John Joe Kenny, Yerry Mina. Yerry Mina was captain. Mason Holgate, Ben Godfrey, Andre Gomez, Abdoulaye Doucouré, Damari Gray, Andros Townsend, Calvert-Lewin, and Richarlison. I don't know what everyone's take on is on that. I mean, we'll go through the sort of potential tactics of this, but what do you make of that lineup? Obviously, Yerry Mina is captain. I don't think he's ever captained the club before, so that's a new one in itself.
I can't really judge it because if Duncan Ferguson picks you as captain, you've got to have something about you, don't you? I think that's just the easiest way to go about it. I think Mina is passionate about Everton. I think that's 100% something. I just think it's his injury problems that have made it an issue. I think a lot of fans will agree that when he's fit and when he's playing, his standard of football, he's the best centre-back at the club, I think, by a country mile. I think it's not difficult. I think it did surprise me that he dropped Keane for Holgate. I know Keane, hasn't been the best, but I think Holgate's spats with the Everton fans recently. I think he shouted some sort of obscenity swear word, whatever, at I think it might have even been the Gladys Street end when Everton were playing. But I think if Duncan Ferguson trusts him, I think he'll have clearly spoke to him about it, and I think he'll have the trust in these boys that they can get something. You look at Villa's lineup and it's a strong lineup, but there's no Danny Ings. I think we could really pressure these. Like, I think the Villa defence is quite shaky. I think it's probably on par with us for shakiness, how they are. They can tend to make mistakes if they're pressured. I think obviously the big worry is probably someone like Coutinho, because we just know what that, scoring and assisting against United and then giving Steven Gerrard the win against Everton is probably, that's his perfect. He almost revives his career in 2 games because we know how quickly football fans are to react. But I think it's like James puts here in the chat. We need to get stuck into them. We need to be not scared of the consequences. I'm not saying go get a stupid red card, but what I'm saying is show this Villa side that this isn't the same side that was managed by Rafa Benitez. This is a passionate side that's desperate for wins. And I think Duncan Ferguson will be just as desperate because I think he really wants to prove himself to be, the front runner for the full-time manager's position, and a win over Steven Gerrard's a fantastic start to that.
Oh, definitely. Yeah, looking at their team, it's a pretty strong team, isn't it?
Yeah, Villa have got a strong lineup. I think you're bound to with the amount of money Villa. Villa are doing. I'm not trying to be controversial, but it looks like Villa are just doing exactly what we were doing, signing 27, 28, 29-year-olds who look really good, but I feel like Gerrard can bring in, a better quality of player than Ronald Koeman and Sam Allardyce. So I think Villa are an iffy team. I think it's hard to judge Villa because I think even before the draw against United, they're on a 3-game skid. I think I'm not a big Tyrone Mings fan. That might confuse some people. I'm not a big fan of Mings. I don't think he's very good. Konza's really good, but I also think, I don't know, I think, will Digne get nervy at Goodison because when I can't, he won't have heard the fans this loud in a long time, and I think it'll shock him even. So I think that's what we need to do. We need to go in and shock Villa, give them something they don't expect. Because in the end, if they come in not expecting it and we're able to get, I'm praying here, I'm touching wood, maybe like an early 2-0 lead. I know they've shown they can come back from a 2-0 lead, but I also think, to be honest, this team's going to have more grit than that Manchester United side. So I think the goal today is just to pressure Villa into making mistakes that we can capitalise on and trying to minimise the mistakes we make. And that sounds, a lot more simple than it probably will be. But I think under Rafa, everything seemed wrong. I think I could very much see us going back to man marking on set pieces.
I hope so.
It's got to be, doesn't it?
It gives us more of a fighting chance.
It's got to be, doesn't it? Because if we're going to do zonal marking, I think it'd be something where it has to be drilled into you over the summer. And I don't think Rafa did that, to be honest with you.
No, of course he didn't.
I'm not completely against zonal marking if you do it right. A lot of Premier League teams show that you can do it right. But right now, Everton can't do it right. So if we're going to do it, at least wait until the summer, drill it in from the start of summer, and then maybe we'll be able to do it. But man marking from set pieces, lots of pressure, fast counter attacks, which, I'm guessing, and crosses, I'm guessing that's the plan. You're going to see players like Gorman and Decore drive the ball up to Gray, probably. Then you're going to see the crosses from Townsend. I can very much see us scoring from a set piece today as well. I've got a feeling that, because I think Calvert-Lewin, he's shown that Duncan Ferguson knows how to get the best out of him. And I do think on his day, Calvert-Lewin's one of the best forwards, best number 9s in the league. And I think he's proven that when he's on a goal-scoring run, he's almost unstoppable. You go back to last season, halfway through the season, he had 13, 14 goals. And then it dried up a bit. So I think he's shown that he can be that lethal goal scorer. And I think Richarlison is also going to be looking for that edge again. So I think a lot of these players are going to go into this game almost wanting to prove themselves again to Everton fans. And I think, beating Steven Gerrard. Pardon? What was that?
Well, they've got to.
Exactly, they've got to. I think they're going to be desperate to prove it. And I think if you look at everything going into it, it was obvious the club didn't like Rafa. What Dunk's been saying, what Pickford said, I think it's pretty obvious. And I think it is pretty obvious that the club made a mistake in sacking him too late. But they did sack him. Dunk's here now. And if he proves himself here, I won't be against us just giving him the job until the end of the season.
I think he'd do enough, even if it's not. I don't think it'd be easy. I think it will. I think we'll stay up. That's what I'm basically saying. He'll keep us up until the end of the season, I think.
Yeah, but even under Moyes, we weren't tactically amazing. We weren't. That's no disrespect to David Moyes. I think, Everton fans have always known David Moyes is a fantastic manager, and now he's proving it again. But the main advantage we used to have over teams back then was the passion, the fight, the want. And that's what's seemed to drift away since the money came in. And obviously, you hire these big personalities. They might not really understand that Everton way, these big personality players that, really only care about the paychecks if we look at the players we've signed. So I think I think that's why Dunk's picked this lineup, I'm guessing something's up with Michaelenko and Patterson, because I can imagine Dunk could like Patterson, especially being a Rangers boy. Michaelenko looks like the sort of player Dunk could like as well from the 2 games he's played, just likes to flay into tackles, and he likes to.
Whether they're ready to play, isn't it?
Yeah, I don't think it is. I think it is, that they are ready to play. Kenny starting surprises me, but even then, when Kenny started against Chelsea, I thought he was pretty good. And if he can play well against Chelsea, he can definitely play well against Aston Villa, So, and I feel like Kenny also can do a full 90. I don't think Seamus Coleman can do that anymore. So I think, if Kenny can prove himself, I wouldn't be completely against him even, getting the odd start every now and again, between Coleman, Kenny and Patterson. And then I think it will be shifted towards selling Kenny in the summer. But I do and I don't like this team in a sense as where I know these boys are going to put 100% effort in, but then I look at someone like Mason Holgate and I just know I don't like to bash on the fella because it clearly gets to his head, but at the same time, I think he's just error prone, isn't he? And I think I don't want this to be a game where we look at it and go, wow, we were really good, except that one mistake by this player. and because I think something like that can cause problems, and it's shown before. And I don't want it to be where Mason Holgate, I'll use as an example, makes a mistake, and then Goodison goes from bouncing to booing Mason Holgate in an instant.
Yeah, I know what you mean, but I think the players will be well up for it.
Yeah, I
I
really
don't
think
know.
they do. I just think it's got to be the question of we've got to be more up for it than Villa. I think that's as simple as it there. Because if you look at the quality, Villa have got more quality than us comfortably. So it's about wanting these 3 points more than them. Gerrard might be able to tell them this is Everton. You've got to beat Everton. We've got to get these 3 points. I can't lose to Everton. But I look at some of the names on that team sheet, and I think, are they really gonna, put 100% effort in? Coutinho played for Liverpool for years. Does Coutinho really care about beating Everton? Is Luca Digne ready to come up against the team that he's just left a few weeks ago? So I think it's got to be that, we're going to probably say it throughout this. Just go at them. Do not show any fear. Because if we can extract some sort of fear out of them, we'll win the game, in my
Yeah,
opinion.
I think so. Yeah. Dan Quickbury, new to the show, good chat. I'm scared today. I don't normally like seeing players drop, but like Keane has been. I think you discussed Holgate there, but I'd actually be more inclined to play him. I think Keane's been a liability lately, so he needed to be dropped.
Yeah, obviously I've seen the jokes. Keane scored the own goal on purpose to get Rafa sacked and stuff like that. People, trying to make light out of the situation. But I think Keane just, especially under the recent managers, just never suited the style of football we wanted to play. Like, he can pass and he can play out of the back. But one of the most important things about that's composure, and that's just something Michael Keane doesn't have. He doesn't have composure. He needs a really good centre-back partner behind him, besides him, sorry. And, Godfrey's good, but I think it's starting to become less obvious now because I think he's starting to get back now. But I think it was obvious for months he hadn't recovered fully from long COVID yet. I think it was, and then you've got Yerry Mina, who seemingly can't string 3 or 4 games together for us without getting injured. So I hope, now I hope we get some sort of good medical staff in, because we've sacked all Rafa's lads, haven't we? We've
I
sacked
think so. Yeah.
all Rafa's lads, all Rafa's mates are gone. Hopefully, whoever we bring in, or even Duncan Ferguson, the club finds competent people, because Mashiri's just put another 100 million in or something like that.
This is all well and good, but like, he's got to keep his nose out.
I read the thing, and don't get me wrong, we say this every time. I think he is passionate about Everton. I just think he doesn't know what he's doing at the same time. You know what I mean? And when it's your pet project, you want to be involved in it as much as possible. But if you're then hindering it, you have to know when to at least get someone else involved. So I think I don't see us giving it to Dunk till the end of the season, if I'm completely honest with you. It might even be, I think it might be Rooney, because there's a chance Derby are, on the 30th. That's the last game at Pride Park. There's a possible chance that after that, if this takeover from this American company don't go through, that's it, Derby are done. So it could be a situation where it's quite a crap situation, but, where we wait until then and bring Rooney in. There's Kovac, So I think I could very much see it being Kovac or Rooney.
Kovac said that he doesn't want to leave, or he doesn't want a new job until the summer.
Oh yeah, I think that's. I couldn't. If he said that, I definitely couldn't say that then, because I think there'd be better options available in the summer if we did wait. I would like the idea of giving it to Dunk till the end of the season or giving it to Rooney, because in the end, if Rooney gets the job, I see it very much being a thing of, I don't know if you remember the Cowley brothers, where it's kind of Dunk and Rooney, where Dunk's only the assistant manager in name or the coach in name.
It's like a sort of joint management thing.
Yeah, sort of. And I think Rooney is passionate about Everton. Everyone sends this thing about him kissing the United badge at Goodison Park. And I say it all the time, you're an 18-year-old kid. When you're a teenager getting loads of abuse, you act rashly. It's natural. I don't think that means he hated Everton, personally. I think he does love the club. Maybe not as much as someone like Duncan Ferguson, obviously, but at the same time, I think he would show the passion required. And I think he's shown at Derby that he is, I'd say he's shown that he's a good coach. It doesn't mean he's ready to dive straight into Everton, but at the same time, hiring these big name managers hasn't worked, has it? And even, if I look at Moyes when we hired him, were Preston doing really well when we hired Moyes?
He was doing all right.
Yeah, that's it, all right, and people saying, would anyone... Derby would have been 12th without the
playoffs. Preston, they were in the playoff places.
Yeah, and Derby, Derby would be 12th, but if you look at this Derby squad, it's crap. It is awful. It's, before people like Jags left, it was a bunch of veterans and a bunch of academy players all blended in together and praying it works. So, it's a relegation championship squad and he had it towards mid-table to above mid-table. So the fella clearly knows what he's doing. That doesn't mean he's ready for a Premier League job yet, but at the same time, he's hiring another big name. I know Rooney is a big name, but like a big name in his managerial CV gonna really work compared to someone who'll show some passion and some fight for the club.
Yeah, I mean, either way, I think I'm not going to worry too much about like the long term. I think for me, focusing on this game is the most important. I think getting a result in this game is more important, and then we worry about what comes afterwards when this is done. I mean, it's all about getting results in this team, grinding out the result, whatever, by hook or by crook, we've got to win the game.
100%, yeah.
I think the personnel, there's a few like raised eyebrows over it, isn't there? I think there's a few people who are a bit like bemused by what they've seen in the starting 11 here, but like I think, to be honest, there's not much I'd argue with. Maybe see a bit more of Branthwaite, but other than that, I wouldn't disagree with it.
I'd like Anthony Gordon to start.
Yeah, Gordon maybe, but
no offense to Townsend. I like the fella. I think he's been a really good signing. But I really feel like this has been, Anthony Gordon starting to really, turn things up. I look at the Brighton game where for a very slight moment, it looked like he single-handedly was going to pull us a result out of it. It looked like, single-handedly that, what is he, 19, 20?
20, 21 or something like that, yeah.
Was going to drag us a point in a game we should have never won. Or never even drew. We were getting bullied by Brighton. And, I look at... It looks like he's maturing so much after every game on a football pitch. And I think that probably is the personnel around him, players like Townsend and stuff like that. And, I think players like, for example, I think Demarai Gray is undroppable, to be honest. I think Demarai Gray is some of the best business I've seen us do in years. So I think his ability to drive the ball up the fields, it's vital. And then I do understand why he's played Townsend to whip those balls in. Townsend's a fantastic crosser. And he's good on set pieces, so it is completely understandable to why we have played him there. But I think there's a few decisions, like you said, Branthwaite I'd have liked to play as well. And I very much, to be honest, I see Dobbin making an appearance today. I don't think he'll sub Solomon Rondon on, to be honest. I honestly think Rondon's only on the bench to make the numbers up.
Yeah. I mean, to be fair, if it was about making the numbers up, I'd rather it have been Michalenko, to be honest, or Patterson.
Yeah, if they might just not be fit, that might be it. And I think if they're on the bench,
one's never fit.
Yeah, and I think the temptation to sub them on if they are there and they weren't fully fit. Don't want to do a Rafa, to put it simply. What's that? Our player's not ready to come back from injury. Clear them. They can start anywhere. You know what I mean? So I think Mina's had a long break now. I think Mina is fit now. Because I think even when Rafa first played him and he got injured again, it was blatantly obvious the guy wasn't fit. And that, even Calvert-Lewin. So I think everyone's fit going into this game. Everyone's going to be full of energy, hopefully. And then hopefully, I'm going to keep saying hopefully because I don't want to jinx us. That means we're going to get the best out of these boys. And hopefully, the players we are saying, really, I'd have preferred Branthwaite to start over Holgate. Like, Come On You Blues puts here in the chat. Hopefully the Holgate of old turns up and proves us wrong and shows that maybe, with the right manager, we can get results. And I do think this team if you list off the names, he's good enough to get top half. But I think it's the depth that always lets us down and the injuries. So as a starting 11, these boys can get results, and they've shown that. So I think that's going to be the vital thing, that they just need to show it again today, and they need to prove that we aren't a relegation team, that we are a good team who was being managed by someone that was incompetent.
Yeah, I think that they've got to, like I say, I think the players have got to prove it to us as supporters. I think regardless of position, I think they owe it to supporters to give us a proper performance.
Yeah. Gavin players, Villa will hammer us today. Their centre mids against ours today. What a mismatch. It's not really a mismatch. It's not. I'm no offense to the fellas. They're both good players. John McGinn, I'll give you it. John McGinn's a fantastic player. But, I think this hatred around Andre Gomez, and James, feel free to disagree with me. I feel like the thing is with Andre Gomez, he's inconsistent. He has his moments though, and I think he's always been passionate when he plays. I don't think you can hold that against the guy. I think the problem with that is sometimes he can turn into a walking yellow card. But I think I can understand why he's played Gomez, because I think was our only other option on Yango.
Yes, I think. Oh well, Alan's back, but he's not completely fit.
Yeah, so I'd rather, no offense to Onyango, right now I'd rather play Andre Gomez, because this is a big game. So we need to take the risk. And Gavin, you might be right, and I understand your point completely. But I do think at the same time they're only playing. I don't know if they're playing 4-3-3, but it looks like 4-2-3-1 to me.
What I will say is, guys, anyone tuning in here, I think today's a day to really get behind the team. Seeing a lot of negativity here and on social media. I think we need to be a bit more positive. Really get behind the team today and see what we can get. If it doesn't work out, you can, moan after the game. But today we've got to get behind this team and show a bit of passion, a bit of belief, and the players. We need to make sure they reciprocate that. And I think if they do, we will get a result.
Yeah, Villa are a team that can sometimes, like I said, crumble under pressure. I don't think that means they're an awful side and that they're crap, but at the same time, what it does mean is that if this Everton team goes the right way around getting to them and getting under their skin and doing things that, irritate them, then yeah, we can get a result out of this. I just think it is the question of, are this Everton team going to do that? And I think under Duncan Ferguson, to be completely honest with you, yeah, we are. I have faith in Duncan Ferguson. Like I said, I don't think tactically he's going to blow anyone away. But at the same time, I know people don't like Carlo Ancelotti, but if Carlo Ancelotti trusts Duncan Ferguson with a job, I'm going to trust the guy who's won 3 Champions Leagues, that the guy knows when he's had a good coach in his coaching team. I understand he's had some stinkers. Who was the fella who managed Swansea? Was it Paul Clement? Is that his name?
Right, yeah.
Yeah, but Paul Clement wasn't a diehard fan of, the clubs he supported. Duncan Ferguson's a diehard fan who will do anything to see Everton win. That's the difference. I'll be completely honest with you. Steven Gerrard will not. I don't think Steven Gerrard cares if Villa lose, if the Liverpool job's on the offer in a few years' time. Villa are a stepping stone, and they shouldn't be. And maybe Gerrard will prove us wrong, but I do think Villa are just a stepping stone for Steven Gerrard for that Liverpool job, and that he is just going to take Villa's best players to Liverpool with him, to be honest. So I don't think Gerrard's more passionate about this than Duncan Ferguson is, and this is a proving game for Duncan Ferguson, and a win here probably shoots him up in the estimation of people like
I think the whole Gerrard thing, I think if it was Gerrard in a Liverpool dugout, then you'd be talking about a real, blood and thunder battle.
Yeah.
Well, it might be a different kettle of fish.
Yeah, I think Gerrard, for how much we hate him, the guy's a good manager. The guy knows what he's doing, and he's proven himself over years at Rangers. But at the same time, it's what everyone says, it's like what I've just said. Is his head and heart fully committed to Aston Villa, or is it committed until the Liverpool rumours start? I think we will see fight out of this Villa team. I think losing to Everton is the last thing Steven Gerrard wants. I
Of
really do.
course.
I do think it is, but are Villa going to be more passionate than us to win this? Because I think we're gonna play this game like it's a Merseyside derby. To be honest with you, I think the team.
Yeah, probably.
We're gonna. I feel like we're gonna play every game from now on like a Merseyside derby. And I think we have to.
Yeah, me too.
And so I think for the first half we need to overwhelm Villa because I feel like he will adapt in the second half, and I can see Villa coming out. I can see either us coming out a lot better in the second half or Villa coming out a lot better in the second half. So what it could be is we need to put Villa to the sword early. So then if they do get back into the game in the second half, we can go, well, you've left it too late now because we're not going to stop and you're only just getting started. It needs to be something like that.
It just
And I
needs,
also think we need to
be
use.
right on it for the whole 90
I
minutes.
think we need to use the bench today as well because that's the one big thing with Rafa that irritated me as well. He's not. I know the bench is crap, but Dobbin, whenever he comes off the bench, has performed. I think he did well against Chelsea. As long as Rondon keeps the seat warm, I couldn't care less. I wouldn't mind seeing Onyango come off the bench if we are in a good situation, But I think the big problem with Rafa was I know the bench is crap, but he never used it. And then when we didn't, even at the points where we just needed energy on the pitch, we didn't need talent at that point. We just need someone who'd run around for 20 minutes. He'd never do it, or he'd sub on Salomon Rondon or something, where we just look and go, oh no. So I think it is just, I trust Duncan Ferguson. I have complete trust in him, and I think we're going to get a result out of this. But I just feel like he just don't make the same mistakes Rafa made.
Yeah, well, I think obviously he is trying to change it up with this formation. Whether you like it or not, he is trying to do something different, and something different needed to be done.
Yeah, 100%. I think, Everton for years now, like I said, since the first that really good run of form under Carlo Ancelotti. I haven't seen much passion from the squad at all, to be honest with you. That's no knock on the players, but it is a knock on the players, attitude-wise, not talent-wise. But I think Duncan Ferguson, it's like you said, I don't think you're going to play for Everton if you don't have the passion to play. Which is why people are, slagging off Andre Gomez. But I think he's got to have been doing something right for Dunk to pick him. Because I also don't think Dunk would have been completely against picking Onyango, to be honest with you.
Probably not.
No, so I think Gomez has done something in training for Dunk to go, yeah, I trust you. So I think if we get a good, well-performing Andre Gomez, he can run the midfield in a game, and he's shown it. He's shown it on loan, and he has shown glimpses of it when he's been given the chance, but when he's been on form. So I think it's just we have to have faith in all 11 players today and in the manager. We need to be completely behind them. If Mason Holgate mispasses the ball once, don't just start booing. You know what I mean?
Yeah.
And it's like, a lot of people, you look at it in the chat, it's just constant a stream of negativity. And then I think I do kind of think, if that's how it's like in the stadium, which I don't think it's going to be, because it's the internet.
No, I think the stadium will be a good atmosphere, but I think we all need to have a bit more belief that we can get something today. I think the stadium will be bouncing. I'm not sure if anyone's we haven't touched on it yet on this stream, and it is worth giving it a mention that Duncan Ferguson's he's pretty much made it a free bar in the Brick and the Wilmslow before the game. He's your first pints on Duncan when you go in there, I think, today.
Oh, what a man. Yeah, I saw that on Twitter, and I think that's it. The stadium everyone's going to be rocking. And a rocking Goodison Park is.
He wants to get a bit of alcohol in the veins, get them bouncing a little bit more. You've probably got a little idea there, to be fair.
Yeah.
I mean, obviously, he gets the fans even more behind him that they've had a pint on him.
If you speak to a lot of managers, like for example, I study football journalism in Derby, and we had Martin O'Neill in a few weeks ago, and Martin O'Neill said that comfortably Goodison Park was the best atmosphere when it's bouncing in the league. A lot of managers say it. But it's the problem is when we're bouncing. And I think we will be bouncing. I think you'll see most Evertonians on your feet. You'll even see the family enclosure bouncing around, So I think we're going to go into this game. The fans in the stadium are going to be ready. The players are going to be ready. The manager's ready. And I think that's something we haven't been able to say about Everton for a long time. And, it's just, I think we're going to get passion out of everyone, even the underwhelming players, you could say, are going to put 100% effort in, and they're going to try prove themselves to Duncan Ferguson, because this is, in a sense, it's a new era at Everton where I'm praying that it's not just big name manager, we're good for 6 months and then we fall off a cliff again. Because we didn't even get 6 months out of Rafa. We got, 5 games? A decent stuff out of Rafa. So I think, I'm not going to be negative going into the game. I've got full faith in the players. I've got full faith in the manager. And unless they show me something that makes me lose my faith, which would be giving away a ridiculously stupid goal or something like a red card in the first 10 minutes.
Even then, even if something does go wrong, I think we've got to really stay with the players here and stay with the team.
Yeah, I'm going to back the boys 100%, but that's what I mean. It's got to be something catastrophic for me to go, oh, no.
Yeah.
And I don't think we're going to get something catastrophic, I think we're going to get full passion. We're going to get bouncing Goodison Park, and Villa are going to come into this game going, what? I don't even think Villa are going to expect this, because I think Gerrard's not an idiot. Gerrard will know. I'm pretty sure some of Gerrard's family is Blues. I've heard him say before. And that when he made the choice, it was because of the 86 the Merseyside Derby FA Cup final?
Yeah, that was right, yeah.
And he picked the winner, basically. That's how he picked Liverpool. So he'll have Blues.
What a glory hunter.
And so he'll have Blues in his family, so he'll know the excitement. But I think even he's going to be surprised when he goes into Goodison Park at how loud it's going to be. How, the stadium's going to feel like it's going to feel like we're actually doing well in the league. That's how bouncing the stadium's going to be. If Gomez, 1 second, I'm just reading this one, James. If Gomez isn't good enough, what's the alternative? An unfit Allen or a kid with very little experience, like we said on the stream, he's clearly done something right to impress. That's it.
I think it's the right decision.
I'm no one saying Andre Gomez is the best Portuguese midfielder in the world or the best midfielder in the world, either. You know what I mean? What I'm saying is he's showing passion. And, was Stephen Naismith a good player? No. But did Stephen Naismith show fight? Yeah. That's the thing is, I feel like a lot of Everton fans, and I might get stick for this, and I'm willing to take it, kind of forget the mould of what we built because of the recent managers we had. Because, you look at it, James,
Some of the players were anything but superstars.
Yeah, that's what I mean, is every player to an Everton fan, even the crap ones, had a good I remember all the jokes about Oumar Niasse. But even people used to cheer when Oumar Niasse touched the ball. It's a very toxic culture that's come around recently. And understandably, no one's saying these fans are wrong for thinking that because of the crap they've been served.
But it might be different today.
That's what I mean. It has to be. It's not might be. It has to be different.
Well, it has to be. Yeah, and I think it will be. I think it's one of them. I think we've got to be a lot more positive going into this game, And even then, if it doesn't go according to plan, you still stick with the team. At least I feel connected to this club again. And I said this to someone, and this might be a bit outlandish, but I would rather go down under Duncan Ferguson and stay up under Rafa Benitez.
Mm-hmm.
At least it feels like it's our club again.
Yeah, exactly. Because
that in itself, for me,
in the Championship, Goodison Park could be bouncing. That's it. That's all. I've been.
Rafa Benitez won't be in the dugout.
Exactly. I can't even think of the last time I remember a full bouncing Goodison. Just everyone. I've only been to one game this year, and understandably, the trains are a ridiculous price and stuff like that. I'm at university, but the Southampton game, it was even when we were winning. When we started winning, there was an air of negativity. People around me saying, "Oh, here we go, Southampton are going to score." I think under Dung, I can see this idea of the fans are just going to be, they're just going to go with the flow. We've not got Rafa, Duncan Ferguson's the manager. Let's have a party. I think that's going to be the atmosphere in Goodison Park, and I think that's something we needed for a long, long time now.
Absolutely, but I think he's definitely I think you've got to realise that there's a lot of negativity about the starting line, but with the exception of a couple of maybe things that are done differently, his hands are tied in some places. The team isn't that great.
It's
If Alan's not fully fit, he's got to pick Gomez, because who else is he going to pick? Fabian Delph's out, Davis is out. Gabaman's probably even more unreliable than Gomez. So, what's he supposed to do?
Yeah, I don't know what's going to happen about signing a number 10. I mean, I know that's not what this is for, because that's what Rafa wanted. And I think that's something we need, is a creative midfielder. But at the same time, under Dunk's 4-4-2, is that going to work? So I think after this game will give us a good indicator of what we need, in my opinion. I think it'll give us a really good indicator of this is what the squad needs under Duncan Ferguson, because as I said, I think we just give it to him till the end of the season, personally. Unless we get absolutely trolloped today, unless Villa walk all over us and make us look a group of mugs, I think Duncan Ferguson should get the job.
Let's see how we get on. I think let's see how we get on. I think
that's it. I think, reserve your judgment until after the game, not halfway through the
decided until the final whistle blows.
Exactly. Don't halfway through the game, because Andre Gomez passes the ball and it accidentally goes to Digne or something, and then Villa do note with it. Don't act like Andre Gomez is just, hurt a close relative of yours, because I feel like I think it's understandable. We get so much crap that sometimes Everton fans, me included, especially, I'll put myself front and center as one of the ones who does it, can overreact to things. But today is a day where we're completely behind every player on the pitch, no matter what. And we show these players that we are supporting them. We don't have to think they're fantastic, but in the end, we still need to support them because they're Everton players.
Yeah, at the end of the day, that's the be all and end all. And we'll be here long after some of these players have gone, whatever happens.
Yeah, exactly. And I think the players, I can imagine a lot of the players do want to prove to the fans that they are good enough, that they are.
And so they should. I mean, Duncan Ferguson said in one of his pre-match interviews, didn't he? He said he was asking to the players, know what it takes, know what it means to play for Everton.
They do now.
Said, well, they do now.
Exactly.
That's the most important thing you can say.
Yeah, exactly. I think that's it. I think these boys now, they know from a true Evertonian what it means to be an Everton player. From someone who, let's face it, if these players are crap at half time, they're not going to get away with it like they might have done under Rafa. Like, I understand we came back under a lot of games with Rafa, but the more and more I watched him, the more and more I thought that wasn't really because of him, It
was because someone scored a nice goal or something.
Yeah, Rafa was always this. It just never would have worked, and I just think maybe another club in the Premier League it'd have worked, but I think that's it for him now. To be honest with you, to get this little club part on Rafa. I think that's it for him now. I don't think he's ever going to manage a Premier League club again. Because if Newcastle take him after that, if they sack Callum, take him, they're off their rocker. Gavin here puts, I don't know if I can do the cool little clicky thing here. I think I can. He says, hand on heart, do you really think Kenny's going to have a good game? Do you think Cole? I'm not saying they're going to have a good game, but no one's saying that.
Not saying they're going to have a bad game either.
Exactly.
Nothing's decided yet.
That's what I mean. I think this is what we've been trying to say to you the entire stream. And I feel like a lot of the chat is agreeing with us in a sense, and they might not be putting in the comments, but that no one's asking for 10s out of 10s out of everyone. We just want the points and the
graph. We want the work rate.
We want the graph. We want what makes an Everton player back. We want that core group back.
Players have made mistakes in the past, but you get over it if you see them.
Like, to put it simply, if in 2010, if Tim Cahill, Mikel Arteta, Stephen Pienaar, even if you want to even got some of the squad players back from that Moyes squad, would you have been screaming for the head? No, you wouldn't have done. You'd have been like, lads, make
people nowadays would be calling Rodwell one of the worst players they'd ever seen or something.
No one says.
This time, imagine the pelts he'd have got after Wembley nowadays.
Yeah, exactly. Because my thing is, no, we're not saying we're perfect. We do the same thing as you. We overreact to players. We overreact to managers. But at the same time, what you have to understand, and I know you, Gavin, to be honest, you've probably been around longer than me. You know, when I was born, I've lived 20 years until last season, seeing Everton never win at Anfield. Until last season. So. But what we're saying is you've got to get behind them, even if you don't have complete trust in them. At
Just
least
get
get back.
behind them for the reason that it's not Rafa Benitez FC.
Exactly.
That alone for me.
I wish I could be at Goodison Park, and I tried to get tickets, but it would just difficult. But I think it is time now to finally get back behind these boys and show that, even if we don't think of them as the best player,
but they don't have to be.
You don't have to be to play for Everton. You just need the graft, the work rate, and you need to be ready for war.
What Duncan Ferguson basically said, if you put that shirt on an Everton fan, what would they do?
Yeah. Was Duncan Ferguson an amazing player? Like some fantastic this world player? No.
He wasn't Thierry Henry.
No, exactly. Exactly. But he put 110% in constantly. Was Tim Cahill world class? No. His ability was boosted because of the graft he's put in. He had some ability, but then would put 110% in. Same with Mikel Arteta. Same with Stephen Pienaar. How do we expect these players to put in amazing performances if no one's behind them in the stadium?
And I know they've got to show us that they can deliver those performances, but I think with the right motivation and the right, Duncan Ferguson saying what he said and what he'll have been doing the past week or so, I think we'll get that.
Yeah, to be honest,
I have more belief that we will get that.
To be honest, right, I could very much see Gomez being a consistent starter from now on. And I know that might be like people, but when he started in a 4-3-3 a few weeks ago, we were all for it.
Yeah, and I'll be honest. Yeah, I think the three of them, him, Doucouré, and Alan, I think make a decent enough midfield.
Because to put it
and that's
simply,
what we should be using, I think.
Gomez isn't the most consistent player, but his passing range puts Doucouré and Alan to shame. It puts them to shame. His passing range is really good, and he shows it. He might be a bit error prone, but in the end, I think if Goodison, I'm just using Andre Gomez as the example because he's the one being mentioned the most as of recently. Gomez, if he has a decent to good game today, and the fans are behind him for every pass, because I've got a feeling for every pass we're going to cheer. It's just going to be everyone's drunk, everyone's having fun, and that's what it's going to be. And so I think it is now about just supporting everybody who wears blue on that pitch. That's it.
Oh yeah, absolutely. I think we've just got to give everything we've got, and I think that's all we can. We can just ask for that more than anything else. Like that's what we want more than anything. I think is just to feel connected to this club again, and I think that if they deliver a good performance today, then that connection sort of rebuilds a little bit, and we can start sort of getting a bit more pride back in the club, and that's all that matters for me nowadays. Like I say, I just want to feel like connected to the club like I used to be.
100%, yeah. Like
Duncan Ferguson, I think he will be able to motivate these players to get a result. I think.
Yeah,
100%. I think that
even if it's a draw, even if it's a draw, and you watch that and go, the boys showed fight, probably should have stole a win there. No one's going to complain. It is just, I think it's that. And, James puts here, I don't know if this is true or not. I haven't checked Twitter. I just think, I don't know about you, James. I think this is the wrong time for this.
Absolutely. I think by all means do this after the game.
Yeah.
And I well and truly agree with it, but not
now. Do you think Duncan Ferguson doesn't agree that this isn't good enough for Everton? Of course he does. But at the same time, get behind the guy, show that, the changes need to be made. But when you're the manager and when it gets to game day, what's going on behind the scenes does not matter because we're behind you 100%. After the game, listen, if you want to complain, you bought your ticket, do what you want with it. I can't tell you what to do. But at the same time, but before the game kicks off, especially this close to kick off, and when we're in the game, it's not about Bill Kenwright. It's not about Fard Mashiri. It's about Duncan Ferguson and the 11 players on that pitch.
Exactly.
So I think leave the protesting until after the game. Leave this 22 years of failure. Time to go, Bill. Leave it at the door until after kickoff. Flying planes over Goodison. It's not going to help anything, is it? It's probably just going to distract the players. And that's the last thing we want going into this game.
We don't need it. I think just get behind these players. Get behind Duncan Ferguson, if anything else.
Exactly, that's it.
Believe
it was okay, Pete.
Just believe that we can get the result. Yeah, it was on BT. They showed it on the telly, I think.
All right. Well, is the game on BT or Sky?
BT, I think.
Can't stand the BT commentators. Anyway,
well, anyway, we're going to be wrapping up in a minute anyway. But what I'm basically getting at is, let's just get behind these players. Let's believe they can deliver a result with different coaching, different methods.
Yeah,
I think different levels of motivation from a new manager, a more motivated manager. I just think that we can deliver a better performance levels, if nothing else, and then hopefully we can get the result.
Yeah, 100%. I think there's no reason we can't get a result against Aston Villa. No offense to Aston Villa. There's no reason.
I think we can beat anyone if we
have shown that on our day.
The last time he managed, we beat Chelsea.
We beat Chelsea, we drew with United, and we drew with Arsenal, didn't we?
That's right, yeah.
Exactly. Why can't we beat Aston Villa? Why can't the only team I wouldn't say we could beat is Man City. But even Liverpool, every other team in that league, with the right work rate, the right amount of passion, why can't we beat them? Because people will go, how are you going to beat Liverpool? How did we do it under Carlo?
Exactly.
It's not like Carlo's tactics were through the roof, were they? No, he was a good manager.
It doesn't take a genius sometimes. And sometimes work rate is, I think that saying is emblazoned on Finch Farm. Hard work beats talent if talent doesn't work hard. And, I think Duncan Ferguson will definitely have said that at some stage while
I think it'll
the players through the paces this week. I think that with this kind of motivation and like this, a much more, a more positive vibe around Finch Farm, I think there will have definitely been a much more improved mood, better training, better methods. I think with the right coaching, I think we can get the right results.
100%. I agree with you 100%. I think
I could see us going. We'll wrap up anyway. What's your prediction for the game, Callum?
I'm gonna go 3-1 Everton, but Villa are gonna score first.
Wow, interesting. I'm gonna go with 2-1. I'll take that any day.
Yeah, 100%. I think, it's like you said, we'll wrap up, but it is just about, we will reiterate this one more time for everyone watching. Support the team, support the manager. If you want to grumble after 90 minutes, that's fine, but don't. I just pray the fans don't hurk this onto Duncan Ferguson. And I feel like some of the Twitter fans will, but don't listen to them. Do you know what I mean? Unless Duncan Ferguson runs onto the pitch and kicks someone in the face, support the guy until he is either replaced or that's it.
Just get behind. Just get behind him and get behind the players that he's picked.
Because in the end, this isn't like Rafa. Duncan Ferguson isn't trying, or isn't. There's no agent Duncan. He's not passionate. All he wants is Everton
to get Everton the results.
So we have to get behind him to prove that we completely support him, and that's it. That's all this club needs. A bounce in Goodison Park is, as I've said, one of the best atmospheres in this country. We need to prove that to people again.
Let's make it that way today.
Exactly.
So there we go. On that note, we'll wrap this one up, guys. Like I say, let us keep your comments coming in. Give this stream a like and subscribe for more content. And come on, you Blues, let's get this result today. Thank you guys for watching, and we'll see you soon.